Hi, my name is Olivia Gudaniec, and as you've probably seen from the title, this video is about how you can go about terminating your agency contract as an actor. It is a crazy time, it's an emotional time. This topic came up in my new actors consult, so I figured I'm just gonna sit down for a couple minutes and break down kind of like the basic tips that I gave. And if you want to talk about your particular situation, let's get on a call together. You can book it at oliviagmedia.com. But first, let's just kind of go over the basics before you terminate your contract. So you ready? But first, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this video, because I post new videos every single Tuesday. First things first, I want you to make a list of what is working and what isn't working, because when you go after a new agency, you need to come strong with that list to make sure that you're not going through the same cycle. So what is bothering you about them? Is it the fact that you're not going out for auditions? Is it the fact that they don't respond to your emails? You want to go into that next agency meeting being like, I need to check in at least once a month. I want to know my submission stats. Do you see kind of where I'm going with that? That is a great way to get on the right track. I want you to sit with yourself, listen to yourself. This is not the most comfortable process when it's kind of like breaking up with somebody. So I want you to be okay with it and then remain open and detached at the same time. If the agent wants to vent at that point, if you get no reaction, I just want you to be prepared for anything. So we're gonna go in with a plan. I also want to mention that I am not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer by any means. I'm just an actor who has gone through this process a few times. And for the most part, you can just write yourself a polite letter. I would date it. And if your contract says you have 30 days to terminate a contract or 60, like read the fine print and then go from there. Obviously, if there is some loose ends to tie up, you want to tie those up, pay your commissions. If there are residuals coming in, you gotta kind of have to work that out ahead of time so there isn't any, like, oh my God, you're leaving me, but what about my money? So I just want you to work all of that stuff out prior to writing that letter and just having an answer when that's going to come up. If it's a little more complicated, you'll probably need a lawyer at some point. If you want to go that route, obviously it's going to get expensive. So just make sure you are polite along the journey. Make sure it doesn't get to that point so you can save some money. But if you feel like you need some professional legal advice, definitely I encourage you to seek it. But for the most part, I've never had to do that. I would just write a letter, tied up my loose ends, and I would get a confirmation that the letter was received and we would move on. So how should you actually communicate this termination with your agent? Well, how do you normally communicate is what I would ask. Do you normally call, text, email? For the most part with me and my agents, we have always emailed, so I would just continue the communication that way. But if you're somebody that picks up the phone for an audition, for booking out times, for anything of that sort, then I would suggest you stay on that track as a just form of self-respect and decency, really. But it's up to you in the end. If you do the phone call, I would then follow up with an email because you do need it in black and white. So don't think if you just do the phone call, that's enough. Make sure you have that letter ready. But I would break the news via phone first if that's the direction you're going in. Last but not least, if you are going to terminate your contract, you are 100% set on it. Before you do it, I would actually suggest asking the agent for a breakdown of what they have submitted you for over the past 6 months, a year, however long you've been together. This is something that will help you with statistically wise know how many times you were submitted, and if you're not going out on auditions, if he or she only submitted you 5 times, then your chances weren't high. So you kind of want that insider information. But I'm going to share with you that agents don't always like giving this because then it kind of comes across like, oh, you don't trust me that I'm doing my job. but I figure it's okay to ask since you want to leave anyways. To each their own. That's just another suggestion I have for my clients. So if you would like more information on this topic or to go over your specific case, head on over to oliviagmedia.com. Let's talk it out. And I got your back, don't worry. I've been in the industry for over a decade. I know what I'm talking about. So let's get going.